Hi, my name's Devin Smith, and I wanted to tell you guys a story that happened to my family and I. But before I get into that, I just wanted to say I don't want to make these spirits out as bad or anything like that. I just wanted to tell you guys what happened. So, when did you buy the painting?
I would guess it was probably about 15 years ago. We've been in Wisconsin for 13, probably about 15 years ago, back in Toledo, Ohio. Dave and I, we like to go garage sailing, so we're always picking up all kinds of different folk art, ethnic, whimsical, whatever strikes your eye, and portraits, paintings, pictures of people. Not necessarily something we would buy. A lot of times we look at old things like that, but when we saw Netta hanging on the wall, actually Dave pointed her out. There was something striking about her, the way that she looked at you, and it's almost like she was calling us to take her home.
Me and Teresa were at an estate sale on the east side of Toledo. I asked the people, I said, nobody wants this or whatever, $10? I said, this is your family or whatever? And they're like, nope, nobody wants it. Usually I would not purchase anything of the sort. Usually I'm more into folk arty kind of stuff. But the frame was really cool and the eyes were cool. And for that price, I had to have it.
We took her home and we hung her in the living room and admired her for a while, and we'd walk past her or go look at her and always feel like she was just kind of staring at us, like saying hi, checking out, what are we doing, always this presence with this picture.
The expressions on her face always seem to kind of move a little bit. One time she'll be kind of smiling and then it'll be a little smirk and then maybe a frown.
Dave and I, one night, were like, well, let's open up the back of it. I wonder if there's anything written on it. We do that a lot with artwork that we buy because a lot of times there is a story underneath. So we opened up the back and we look at it and there is writing and a bit of a story, and we wrote it down, and her full name is Netta Catherine Frederica Papke. Jeanette, or Netta, they had written in quotes, so that must have been the young child's nickname. She was born in December of 1898, and she died at just 9 years old on November 15th, 1907. We read that, and it was like, that even drew her to us even more, because, oh my goodness, this young girl, what happened to her? She had an aunt, and her aunt's name was Charlotte Papke Stocky. She must have been remarried.
She put in color to it, because usually the old charcoal prints are just in black and white. And they actually added color. They put some yellow in there for her hair, and they put some blue for the ribbons in her hair, and they colored in her eyes, and her eyes are really awesome.
She had reframed it and colored it. It was black and white back, in the early 1900s, but she must have really been loved by Charlotte for her to take the time to do that and sort of bring her back to life. We're feeling that she wants to be seen, she wants to be felt, she still wants to be loved even though she's gone. Charlotte felt that, and so do we.
We ended up moving up here to Wisconsin. We had her hanging on the wall in the basement down there.
In November, the picture falls. Dave's in the shower, I go over there, and just on the little corner is a little broken piece of glass. Luckily the whole thing didn't break and shatter all over the floor, but there's a little piece that had fallen out. It was kind of a triangle shape. And Dave says, from the bathroom, what happened? And I said, well, Netta fell.
My wife Teresa comes in with this little triangular piece of glass in her hand, and she says, Netta fell off the wall out there and the glass broke, and this little shard here fell out. And then I get out of the shower, and then Teresa looks at my back and she says,
there's this triangle red mark. It's the same mark as that piece of glass.
so we held it up and it was the same size exactly, same everything, and we were like, whoa.
That's really weird. And started talking. Today's the day she died.
It was like a raised red welt, not really a bruise, more of a welt. And it was really strange, and that lasted, I don't know, maybe for a day or something, I think it was there. And then it just went away and it was gone, dissipated. So then we ended up putting the piece of glass up on top of the bookshelf in the basement. I put the picture of Netta in the back storage room, hung it up on the wall in the back storage room. The glass was broken, and we had the little piece of glass on top of the bookcase.
Okay, so probably a year later, well, it was a year later, I'm at work and I hit my head on my car door. stupid. Anyways, I like, I get this big old cut and it's all like zigzagged right here. And I come home and Dave's laughing at me, telling me I look like Frankenstein, whatever. So I've got this cut on my head and we go downstairs, and what we were talking about earlier with the mark on Dave's back, that piece of glass, we put it on top of a bookshelf. Well, for whatever reason, the piece of glass is now on the floor. I pick it up and it's broken again, and the piece of glass that just kind of tore off of there, fell off of there, is the same exact zigzag that I had on my eye. It was hanging in the storage room since the time that Dave had the mark on his back and she broke, because the glass needed to be changed and we just hadn't done it and had put her away. And so when that happened, this next piece of glass and another mark on a body in the family, we felt like she was looking for some attention and needed to come out and be part of the family again.
So 2 years in a row, on November 15th, year after year, both of my parents got marks on them from this painting of Netta. Fast forward another year later, just about a year, not exactly November 15th. It was November 12th, day before Friday the 13th, and it was that time of year again. And we thought she's been in the storage room, her glass is broken. Let's get her a new piece of glass and hang her back up on the wall. So my dad went and got some new glass. It didn't fit the frame, so we had to cut it. When he was trying to cut it to size, another triangle broke out, a little triangle broke out the glass, and he came inside. This is November 12th, and he says, "Well, it happened again. I guess this is your year. It's happening to you." So I was like, "Great, can't wait." The next day, November 13th, which was actually Friday the 13th, I remember waking up at 3:44 a.m. specifically, and walking out to the kitchen, and I was really thirsty. I went into the fridge. I grabbed a bottle of grape juice, and I started just drinking it. And I remember looking at the stove and seeing the time on the stove. And then I remember just looking from there straight over to Netta, hanging above the stairwell. And I swear to God, as soon as I looked at her, I'm like shaking talking about this, all the lights in the whole living room and the kitchen turned on, the microwave turned on, the dishwasher turned on, we have a little radio below the cabinets, that turned on, everything turned on, and it freaked me out. I threw the grape juice right back in the fridge, I ran to my room, which is right next to the kitchen, I slammed the door shut, everything stopped. Everything went black, I could see it black under the door, there was no more noise, and it freaked me out, and I locked my door and just hid in there all night, and it scared the crap out of me. A few days later, November 15th, wouldn't you know it, I wake up, right on my arm, right here, there was a bruise, like a bruise. It was purple and black, and like you could feel it, and like when I touched it, it hurt. It was a bruise. We're like, we know exactly what this is. It's happened twice now. We took the piece of glass, and I held it right up over top of the bruise on my arm, and it was exactly it. And then I went and took a shower, and it was gone. It was gone within like a half an hour. A shower shouldn't get rid of a bruise. It shouldn't just go away like that. But it did. So fast forward probably another year. It wasn't exactly a year later, I don't know when it was, but we went back to Ohio just to visit family and things like that, and we figured, hey, while we're there, let's see if we can call the graveyards and go around and stuff like that, and see if we can maybe find where Netta was buried, just to like put it all to rest or something, you know, just know where she's buried, because we couldn't find anything online. We did a bunch of research, and this was a number of years ago. I guess we haven't looked into it now. I don't know if anything's been changed, but I think it was just so long ago that they didn't have any records of it. We couldn't find a lot of her family. We couldn't find her at all. So it was like almost like there was no existence of her, and we called places and we searched places and we couldn't find her. But we went to all these graveyards and we were trying to find her, and no luck. We couldn't find her, but we came back and it was all done. Nothing happened after that. That was probably 5 or 6 years ago now that the last thing happened to me. So nothing's happened since then. I think when we went to the graveyard in Ohio, it sort of put her to rest. It sort of made her feel like noticed. It made her feel like we really tried to help her in a way. So within the next few years after that, we did end up getting a piece of glass for Netta and framing it. Everything went well. Nothing spooky ever happened again. Now she just hangs on the wall in the living room above the stairs where everybody can see her. and I just think she's happy. Over the years, I've had many friends come over to the house and see Netta and ask about her, and I've told them the story of her, and they've had all their own thoughts and opinions and experiences and what they think about her. But I decided to have two people that have been around me for a very long time, my wife and one of our very good friends that I've known since I was a child. And I asked them what their opinions are and how they feel of being around Netta today.
I started coming over to your house when I was going into 8th grade, I believe. When we started dating, I don't look at her at all. Like, every time I come over, I try to avoid looking at her at all. If the living room is dark, I don't look down the stairs, I don't look at her picture. I don't really feel like there's a spirit attached to it anymore, but I just feel like I'm just paranoid of her now. And since we are together, I always kind of am paranoid that I'm the next person that's going to get something on me. So I just try to not be mean to her. I don't say anything bad about her at all. I still don't want to say anything bad about her. And I just hope that, you know, she's resting now and she's not going to try to come back now that we're talking about her, because November's just around the corner. So I don't want to have her rise and start to bother us again. But yeah, I don't really think she's done anything to me, so I'm okay with her.
When I first met you, I didn't come over a lot, but as I started hanging out with you more and I found out about Netta, it was more of like an uncomfortable feeling that I had. Like, I can't look at her. Every time that we go downstairs, I don't look at her face at all. I don't stare at her. I say hi to her sometimes. I'll be like, hi, Netta, because I'm already scared of her, because I feel the presence. It feels uncomfortable when I, like, acknowledge her, because I'm going to be honest, she's scary. She looks creepy. Her eyes will follow you. She doesn't look happy. In my interpretation, I'm afraid of her, so I always try to be nice. I've never said anything bad about her, but she does make me uncomfortable, and I feel the presence whenever I acknowledge her. But earlier, when I went into the house as you were interviewing your father, I said to her that we were talking about her hair, and I just immediately felt like panic. Like, I felt like a wave of just uncomfortable. Like, I shouldn't have said anything to her. Like, I should have just kept my mouth shut. I know she's not gonna hurt me, and I know she's not like a malicious type of presence, but it's like an unsettling feeling, knowing that there is a presence that is supernatural among everyone.
So over the years, Netta's now been hanging in a pretty predominant spot in the house where we can see her in the morning and at night, and she's part of the family, and we're pretty comfortable with it. You just feel like she's always with you, always watching you, and it's kind of strange that sometimes her emotions and her face and her mouth will change along with the staring of the eyes, so it almost feels like there's a spirit or a presence there with that.
Well, I think that she didn't really like being in the back storage room, and then we took her out and we fixed it up. I still think that the eyes follow, and sometimes I think her face morphs a little bit. I see different faces in her face sometimes, actually. I don't think she's any kind of evil spirit of any sort. I would not say that. I've never had any real problems after all this glass triangular stuff. It just seems like a really good place for her right there in the stairwell. I can see her there, and I think she's happy there. Other than that, I just say hi to her every day and good night and all that when I walk by her, and all is good.
Today, being around Netta, it's not scary, but it's almost a feeling of slightly being uncomfortable. When I come into the house, not that I'm afraid of her or anything, but I try not to look at her. I try not to make eye contact because her eyes, they follow you around the whole room, and it's terrifying. There's just this feeling that her presence is still there, which is nice. I think she's a nice spirit, but it's just one of those things where you kind of get uncomfortable because you don't exactly know what it is. We know it's Netta. We came to grow with her over the years, but we still have no information on who she is, really. There's something about something you can't see. Thank you guys so much for watching and so much for just listening to the story. It's something I've been wanting to share for many, many years. I'm just happy that this is documented and I can tell my truth and have it out there to see. I figured since Halloween is just around the corner it was time to tell this story. It was a perfect time, and I hope that the story gave you guys the shivers and it spooked you a little bit. I hope you guys have a very happy and a very safe Halloween. Thank you.